Hi all, good morning everyone, and what I want to do on this really quick movie is use the blend tool and show you guys what it's all about because several students have asked. So I want to hit the M key, and since you've taken the tool palette quiz, you know the M key stands for this rectangle tool, but it also stands for other tools within except for the ellipse tool, which is L. But anyway, I want to just do a quick solid on this with no, definitely no stroke, only fills. So watch this. I'm going to take the red and I'm going to remove the stroke, okay? I'm going to just copy it. That's Command or Control C, and then Command or Control F to arrange and paste. I don't even know where it is. To paste in front, because I never go here. I always just use my quick keys. Okay, so Command F is to paste in front. Command V, here I'll show you. Command V would paste it there. Command F would paste it directly on top of each other. So look in my layer palette. I have two rectangles. I'm going to take the upper one, and just so to keep it symmetric, I'm going to shrink it to 50%. Okay, now I'm going to change the color to yellow. Whoops. I'm going to change the fill to yellow, which I could have just swapped it. Now I'm going to click both. Okay, so I have both of them selected. Let me move closer. So now you can see that I have both of the shapes have solid points. So if I click the W key for the blend tool, I don't even know where it is because I always hit the W key. So I'm going to click the W key here and I'm going to double click it, and it's going to bring up the blend box. Okay. If I go to specified steps, not smooth color, and it's important because I want you to see something. Okay. So if I hit, and I'll just leave it on 10. I'm going to make it better in a minute, but watch this. It's not going to blend these shapes. I have to blend these shapes. So I'm going to take it and click like buttons, meaning, I'm sorry for that, it's my email. I'm going to click the upper left button, the upper right button of the back shape and load the blend tool. Now I did. I clicked that button and I loaded it. Now watch what happens when I click the upper right button or anchor point of the yellow shape. See how it blends. And there are actually exactly the number of steps that I said there would be. There would be 10. Now, what I want to do here is show you something really cool. Okay, so I'm going to back out of this and I'm going to take the direct selection tool and I'm going to click away from it. Now I'm going to click the inside box because these really don't exist yet until I do something. So watch, I can actually pull this away from that and it will blend like this. Okay, now I can actually shrink this bottom piece by just double clicking the scale tool and shrinking it again to that much or again to that much, just so I can show you something really beautiful. Now I have the upper shape. If I take this lower shape and take the direct select, or I won't say anything else, or I'm just going to grab it. So I'm going to grab a point and I'm going to just play with it and move it. Now what if I wanted that to be curved? Okay, so what I'm going to do is click the blend. Look over here in the layer palette. I now have a blend, and the blend has these two rectangles. These other shapes they actually would become real if I do something. I'll do it now, but I'm going to Command Z back. Okay, so I'm going to click my blend with the regular selection tool. Now I have the whole thing selected. Now what I want to do is to show you how to make this into actual squares or rectangles that are independent. Notice how only the top one and the bottom one are selected, because in the layer palette, I'm going to make it bigger, there's only two squares. Every single pretty much effect or filter or whatever always has an ability to expand and what's called its appearance. Appearance is something that's like a style, but I'm going to click expand, and you can see I can expand the object and the fill and click OK. Now those shapes appear, and look at how blend turned into group, and look at how I actually have all of those shapes over here. But I'm going to Command Z back or Control Z back because I want to show you something. With it selected and it only having these two squares, okay, I am going to make sure that the blend is selected, and I want you to look at something in the layer palette first. Okay, so I'm going to click away. Notice how this radial button for blend has a gray in it. That is supposed to tell you that it's an effect, or it's a filter, or it's an appearance, that you've done something to it, like changed the opacity or added a filter to it. Okay, so a gray circle means that something special has been done to it. But let's get to where I want. Look at how I can go to Object, Blend, and replace the spine. Well, what do I replace it with? Okay, there is no spine here. So what I'm going to do is take the P key, and I am going to draw a curve like an S-curve. So I'll just, for now, so you can see it, I'll click the stroke and make it not yellow. I'll just make it black. Okay, so I'm going to make this a pretty shape. So let's go just make a simple, pretty shape. Not too drastic, but I want to make an S-curve. So let me move this up. I know I'm taking too much time here, but that's okay. And let me now run the S-curve this way, and now run the S-curve this way, and keep it clean. Okay, so I'm going to move this up and take the time to make my geometry very clean. So you see how now I've made this geometry kind of clean. So it now has a pretty good feel to it. Let me make this shorter. I know I'm taking too much time here, but that's the way it goes. I'm also going to click the red square, just the red square, because I want to show you something. And I'm going to make it smaller. So all of these things are cool to show you. Okay, so now look at how I have all of these shapes. If I pick up this red square and move it, whoops, I have to grab it with the direct selection tool and move it, they'll follow me. All of these shapes follow me. Okay, now I'm going to select the whole blend. Okay, good. I have a bump on this path. Sorry, I have to fix it. It's a horrible bump, and I won't be able to sleep tonight if I don't fix it, because I don't want the shapes to get all wacky on me. So, and I'll show you what I mean. And I can edit this later, but I choose to edit it now. Boy, I should turn down my sound. Sorry about that. Okay, so now that I have a reasonable, I don't know why I'm having a problem with this S-curve, but it seems to be a pretty simple thing to do. Okay, I don't want that to be too drastic. Okay, so if I select the blend and then using my regular selection tool, which is the V key, shift select the path, I can actually take this blend, which is in a straight line, and replace it with a new spine. So look at how I can replace the spine and make it do that, which is very cool, because you can actually do some things using Illustrator's capability. Look at how it'll obey what I want it to do. Look at how it follows me like this. Now I could take this bottom one, okay, click the bottom one so all the points are solid, and scale it up to 200%. Now I have a better feel here. Okay, so that's just something that I wanted you to see that the blend tool can do. All right, I can actually Command Z back and put this back into the shape if I wanted to. All right, if I grab this one here and move it, look at how they kind of get all weird. Look at how it doesn't really like what I just did. Okay, so I'm going to put it back here. And now if you want to work on the path and fix it, look over here in the layer palette. You can actually re-click the path, and you can actually move this and it will obey. So the blend has a replaced spine to it, and that's called a spine. So I just wanted you to see some very cool things, okay? Now I'm going to delete it, and we're going to go back to, I just deleted the path, okay? Now we're back to a regular blend. I'm going to pick up this piece here, and I'm going to put it back in the red shape. Whoops. Let me see if I can, oh, I know why, because it was all selected. So I need to pick up just this piece and put it back, just the bottom piece. Okay, now let me zoom in to that. And then I want to show you something that is really, really pretty. Okay, so I can pick this up and move it to the corner. I can pick it up and move it to the corner. I can pick it up and move it to the corner. I can actually replace and say, well, I don't like the fact that there were 10 blends there. Let's see what I can do. So I can either release this from the blend, or I can click the whole thing with the regular tool, or click the circle for the blend, go back into the blend tool and say, well, not 10 steps, let's go to 20. Just don't make it 300. Illustrator will freak out. Okay, so look at how much smoother that got. Okay, now here's what happens if you need it to be a smooth color. Just click it and it will look beautiful, but it actually is a tremendous amount of shapes that are doing that. If I zoomed in, you'd be able to see eventually what happened there. So how many steps are in there. So if I click the middle one again and move it, you can see how that's just a beautiful blend. Okay, but sometimes it's nice to be able to understand that you can control it. I know I'm repeating myself, but that's what demo movies are all about. Back to specified steps, and see there's 254. I said don't make it 300, but that's okay. Like I can go to 5 steps if the client wanted you to do a really cool movement in 5 steps or 4 steps or 3 steps, there you'd have it. And then again, to remind you to make this, to actually make it independent squares, click the whole thing and expand the appearance under the object menu, and now you have independent shapes as it turned into a group. Hope that helped, and let me know if you appreciated this.